I'm exercising. I don't need to get anything checked. I feel good and I'm doing the right things. I'm sure most of us, at least people that exercise, know someone that was a runner and they exercised all the time and ate right and had a heart attack, right? Because there are other things going on under the surface. So that's why we need to get our testing done and take the appropriate supplementation to be able to treat what's going on with you. And everyone is different. A treatment plan needs to be tailored to each individual patient piece. It's not like one size fits all. We just take the supplement, you're going to be cured also. There's a lot of different components that we need to look at. And that's why we need to do detailed testing to figure out what's going on with you and not just treat you like a herd mentality. Welcome back to The Root Cause with Dr. Jake. I'm Dr. Jake Schmutz. I'm a naturopathic medical doctor and integrated physician. And in this podcast, I have real conversations with real patients to show you how to heal your body down to the root causes without any harmful drugs or surgeries. I'm here today with my co-host and patient to talk about the best supplements for your cardiovascular age.
Yes, Teresa Marie here. Excited to be able to talk with you, Dr. Jake, today on these supplements. We've had a number of different episodes we've been doing talking about cardiovascular age, and we've learned so much. I mean, from stuff that you can learn on your Aura ring if you have one of those, and WHIP like HRV and PWV, to tests that you can get done at Dr. Jake's office that measure way more than just your LDL and your HDL, but also looking at your glycocalyx and your inflammation markers and so forth that can be putting you at risk and so forth. But now we get to this place of, okay, what happens, right? If we discover that we have some issues with some of our cardiovascular aspects of our health, what are some things that we can do? And you mentioned in a prior episode that you tend to be more cautious when it comes to statins. And so there's a place for them, but you're a little bit more cautious with that. You do have a number of supplements that you do recommend that do a wonder when on cardiovascular health. Now, one thing I want to discuss before we drop into those supplements, because I know many people are eager to find out what they could be taking to really help improve that. But obviously, foundational, right? Most of us have already learned foundational to cardiovascular health is diet and exercise. We know that. I think you've done episodes on that as well. But why is it that sometimes diet and exercise is not often enough?
Now, that's a good question. Why is diet and exercise not enough for cardiovascular age or cardiovascular health for that matter? The reason is because there's a lot of stuff going on in the body. Okay, you're exercising. That means you're going to have a better cholesterol makeup. You're going to tend to have better blood sugar. You're going to be sweating more, so you're going to be pulling out toxins more. But we do live in a very toxin-laden, bad environment that we live in all the time. So there is constant damage that is happening to our blood vessels and to our heart. And also there's stress that is involved. Now, exercise helps with that stress, but there's that component. So there's a lot of things going on, and there's genetic components too. And also, you might be eating a great diet, but it might not be the appropriate diet for you. Or you might be doing the right diet for you. The exercise isn't good there, but then there is still damage happening to your blood vessels. There's still damage happening to your glycocalyx. You might be genetically have higher cholesterol levels than other people. So you need to look at that and see what's going on there. So yeah, it's not like, okay, I'm eating right, I'm exercising. I don't need to get anything checked because I feel good and I'm doing the right things. I'm sure most of us, at least people that exercise, know someone that was a runner and they exercised all the time and ate right and had a heart attack, right? Most of us already know that because there are other things going on under the surface. So that's why we need to get our testing done. And that's why we need to get it done and take the appropriate supplementation to be able to treat what's going on with you. And everyone is different. A treatment plan needs to be tailored to each individual patient piece. It's not like one size fits all. We just take the supplement, you're going to be cured also. There's a lot of different components that we need to look at. And that's why we need to do detailed testing to figure out what's going on with you and not just treat you like a herd mentality.
Right. And I think that, explains, really that this podcast and this YouTube channel is very much for information, um, mostly, right? It is not meant to diagnose anybody. This is to be helpful for you. But almost every episode we've talked about, okay, this is helpful, but it's going to work best if you go and see a doctor first because you might need some of these, you might not need all of them. And you might be on the right diet, you might not be on the right diet. So seeing a doctor, really looking at yourself and getting your own customized approach is ideal. But this is very helpful for those people who are in the process of learning, really wanting to better understand their health. And a lot of this is really motivating, I think, for so many people to go, okay, yeah, this makes sense as to why I would want to get tested and so forth. Second, I think it also is important to note that despite the fact that diet and exercise are not often enough because of the many different reasons that you gave, that supplements by themselves and not having a healthy diet or exercise is also not effective as well, right? Like this is part of a much bigger picture. Assuming that you are on the right diet, assuming that you are doing the right exercise that you need for your body, here are some supplements that Dr. Jake often recommends when it so that it can improve your cardiovascular health. And so what I'd love to hear from you, Dr. Jake, is when you discuss the supplements, not only of course tell us what it is, but why you like it. What is it doing for the body so that people can be able to know, okay, yeah, this one sounds like that might be work for me because I know I have this issue or that issue, or maybe I need to get tested to find out if that's something that would be helpful for me. So let's go. I know you've got a list here. I think I have a list here of 8 supplements that you're going to be sharing with us. Let's start from the top.
Yeah, so I wanted to start with something called CoQ10. Probably a lot of you have heard of CoQ10. It's a very popular supplement out there. A lot of people are taking it for their heart health, but why? Why are you taking it for your heart health? What is it actually doing? And you need to make sure you take a good product too. You need to make sure it's a, it doesn't absorb very well. It needs to be in a fat base. Ubiquinol usually is the best form to actually get it, to be able to get absorbed. And that's what the research really is on to have the most effect with CoQ10. But what it does so many things for our heart. So it does help decrease our cholesterol levels and increase our good cholesterol. Very important. But it also helps keep your heart pumping how it should at the right rhythm, right? A lot of us have heard of arrhythmias. That means our heart isn't pumping correctly. The circuitry, the signals from our brain are not being sent appropriately to the heart and it's all out of whack. CoQ10 can really help with that. So what's great about CoQ10 is it's going to help decrease the cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, but also help our heart work right and help the neurological system to our heart work how it should. Next thing that's very similar to it, but it works similar in how it works, but it's a different product. But I like to do a combination of the two is acetyl L-carnitine. They're both mitochondrial stimulants. They help a mitochondria work better. So that's why it's really good for the circuitry, the nervous system going to our heart and helps regulate rhythms. But also acetyl L-carnitine has been shown in the research to decrease bad cholesterol also and help increase our good cholesterol. Next thing I wanted to talk about, and I didn't put this one on there, Teresa, but I'm going to go ahead of on it because I forgot about it. This is probably my favorite one of all. Is actually niacin. Niacin is amazing. And that's not niacinamide. It's niacin. I know a lot of you might be thinking, oh crap, I have to take niacin. That's going to make me flush. It's going to make me look like a cherry. Yeah, it can do that. That's why I do recommend taking an extended release niacin. Tends to not have as much flushing to it. But what we're noticing in the research, part of that flush is why it's so good for cardiovascular health. So what niacin is it helps decrease our bad cholesterol. It helps decrease triglycerides. It also helps increase HDL. It's probably my favorite substance out of anything to actually increase HDL, which to review, that's our good cholesterol. That's what's going to shuttle out cholesterol out of our body, right? So that's very important to increase our HDL production. So I love niacin for that. Along the lines of cholesterol is I want to talk about red yeast rice. This is our natural statin, right? That's a all natural statin that doesn't tend to have as much side effects to it as regular statins, but it definitely helps decrease LDL and helps decrease triglycerides in a natural way. So I love it for that reason. So combination of niacin and red yeast rice is really great for the cholesterol components that we want to deal with to make sure your cholesterol is in a good range if you do have bad cholesterol.
Now, Dr. Jake, you listed a couple of really important supplements here, and I made a note that we've switched to 9, by the way. But you also have mentioned that making sure that you have good quality. And I want to make a note of that because I have been seeing a lot more stories of fake supplements being sold on places like Amazon and so forth, where you think that you're getting
Mhm.
a supplement, you find out you're actually getting a copycat. They've actually made fake labels. They're not the actual supplements that they claim to be. And you don't know what else is inside them, because, they're trying to, trick people, right? So
Yeah.
you actually, in response to this, as well as in a response to wanting to make sure that your patients get good supplements that are actually helping them because you care about your patients, you've actually developed your own like a shop in a sense where people can get good quality supplements that either you formulated yourselves with trusted labs and so forth, or they are other companies that you trust and you know that you can actually get from the source the actual supplements that people are claiming. So we're going to make sure and have that in the description box below so that you can be able to have access to that shop and be able to find any of the supplements that Dr. Jake recommends. So we've listed out here, Dr. Jake, I have CoQ10, niacin, yeast rice. Did you mention L-carnitine?
Yep, I did.
So we've got 4 so far. Let's move on to the next that you recommend.
Next one I want to talk about is hawthorn berry. I love it. Hawthorn berry, anything heart related, blood vessel related, hawthorn is great. It does so many different things. So it helps regulate arrhythmias. So it helps with our circuitry in our heart, make sure it pumps how it should. So if you have any circuitry issues, hawthorn is awesome there. And also is a strong antioxidant. So it's going to help decrease damage to our blood vessels. So what causes damage throughout our entire body, including the blood vessels, is oxidative damage. So when we get good antioxidants, we decrease that oxidative damage. So there's decreased damage to the blood vessel and decreased binding of cholesterol to the blood vessel that can lead to a clot, right? So we want to decrease that ability from happening. So we want to make sure we get good antioxidants. And hawthorn is a great one. Has been known since the beginning of time to be good for the heart. And we just are finding out more and more and more why it is. We know it helps with arrhythmias. We know it helps decrease the oxidative damage. We know it helps decrease cholesterol. And it also, here's a key too, is it helps keep our glycocalyx healthy. It helps keep our armor healthy. So I love it for that reason. Also, next thing I wanted to talk about is vitamin D. How is vitamin D good for our cardiovascular health, right? Isn't that just good for our bones and our immune system so we can kill off bugs and stay healthy there? Yeah, it's good for that. But it also is very important on keeping calcium out of our bloodstream and making it go to the right places. We don't want it to go to our blood vessels and implant there. We want it to go to our bones. So vitamin D helps that to happen. And that's why we always want to do what? We want to take vitamin D with K2. So when I'm saying vitamin D, I always take it with K2. I never take it alone. It's D3 K2 blend so that when you get vitamin D, we don't have calcium that's going to be breaking down from our bones and going into the bloodstream. When we take D3 and K2, helps shuttle it right to our bones, keeps it healthy, keeps it out of our blood vessels. Also, vitamin D helps modulate our immune response. It is the hormone that keeps our immune system healthy. It's, I don't know why it's called vitamin. It's more like a hormone. We should call it hormonal D. But it's really good on keeping the inflammatory state under control. So it decreases that inflammation of the blood vessel. So it's not as sticky and not as much cholesterol molecules are able to bind to the blood vessel and form a clot in the future.
Question about that, Dr. Jake. For those people, and I know it's not as common these days with all of our inside jobs. For those people who do maybe live in coastal areas where there's lots of sun, maybe they have an outdoor job, and they get plenty of vitamin D from the
Mm,
sun.
yeah.
Do they have the same risk of vitamin D going to the blood vessels that as someone who's supplementing? And if that's the case, should they be taking K2 to help minimize the vitamin D that they're making from going to their blood vessel?
No, so vitamin D coming in the form through our skin, we haven't seen that happen at all. So it's the best way to get it. That's how I want most people to do it. Now during winter, you're not able to, but if you can go out in the sun without sunscreen, without burning yourself like crazy and actually get good, healthy sun exposure, it is so important in getting vitamin D that way. And while we're just talking about the sun and heart health, it actually increases nitric oxide production too. So it helps increase our vitamin D, but also increases nitric oxide, which is needed to keep our blood vessels dilated to help with blood pressure regulation and less damage to our blood vessels that way too. So yeah, here's a a plug for getting the sunshine for
Yes.
cardiovascular health.
Amen. Love it. All right, Dr. Jake. So we have hawthorn berry that we've added to our list. We've got vitamin D3 with K2 always in combination, but the best form is from the sun. It looks like we have about three more supplements on our list here for you to be able to share.
Yeah, next one I wanted to talk about is curcumin. So I love curcumin. It's one of my favorite supplements. I use it for all kinds of medical conditions, and it's great for our heart health too. It helps decrease inflammation, very important on keeping our blood vessels healthy, decrease that inflammatory component. It helps detox our body. So it helps eliminate those toxins through the liver. It also is a strong antioxidant. So it's going to decrease the oxidative damage that's happening to the blood vessels. So decrease that trauma there. And it helps heal the glycocalyx also. So it's doing so many different things to help heal our body. So I love curcumin for that reason. Next thing I wanted to talk about is magnesium. So why is magnesium good for cardiovascular health? It's needed for 300 different mechanisms in our body. So obviously it's going to be good for our heart. So it's going to help regulate arrhythmias. We've got a lot of research on that. It helps with congestive heart failure. So it helps heal the heart that way. And talking about congestive heart failure, some other things that help are acetyl-L-carnitine, CoQ10, and hawthorn also help with congestive heart failure. So very important for that. It also keeps our blood vessels dilated and pliable. So it helps decrease pressure inside our arteries. So decrease blood pressure and decrease the damage that happens to our blood, to our arteries and veins that way. So there's so many different things throughout our body to help with keeping our heart healthy. And last thing, we're going to talk about the strongest thing we got for keeping our glycocalyx healthy. I talked about a few things that are good. They're weak, they're good, but they're nothing like Vicodin. Vicodin is what we take. If I see someone that has a poor glycocalyx or a poor PBR, so a permeable boundary region, which I do through a test called the glyco check, which checks these glycocalyx PBR to really check your cardiovascular age. Vicodin is awesome for this, on really helping that gel-like substance on the inside of our arteries and veins, the armor of our arteries and veins healthy is taking Vicodin.
And you had mentioned in another episode that, the inside of our veins kind of is similar in many ways to like our gut, right? And a lot of people who are, listening to episodes like this, who are interested in their health, have learned about, okay, your gut lining is important. You got to take care of that. Otherwise, you can get toxins that enter your body. You can have, all sorts of problems. Well, same thing. The lining of our veins are important as well. Glycocalyx is one of those ways that you measure it. And you have obviously ways that you can measure that, but fucoidan is a way to be able to help that lining of the inside of our veins be healthy so that we're having less damage, less need for, you know, cholesterol to come in and have to repair it, which can put us at risk for, heart attack and so forth. So very, very important here. So Dr. Jake, this is an incredible list. Obviously, you did not give any dosages when it came to this list here. This is simply an informational list on like the benefits of it. So, how much should one take and how often? Those are going to be things that they're going to really want to work out with a doctor like yourself after seeing where they stand in their cardiovascular health. So we highly recommend for people to come in. But for those of you who do already know a lot about what supplements that you need and the dosages and so forth, we really recommend to check out Dr. Jake's shop.integrative.com. You can use the coupon code Dr. Jake to get 15% off on any of those supplements. But if you haven't had any of your levels tested, if you don't know where you stand with your cardiovascular health, you can also see Dr. Jake, both virtually or in person. And you can do that by visiting his website. We have the link down below in the description box if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on the podcast, it should be in the show notes. It's going to be drjakewellness.com/schedule, where you can actually get a 45-minute consultation with Dr. Jake to be able to go over what's going on with you and decide on a plan for you, including possibly some of these supplements and dosages. You can also call him at 801-938-7965. Dr. Jake?
Yes, if you want to learn more about cardiovascular age and you're watching YouTube, click the video to the right. I'm Dr. Jake, and I'll see you there.